Our next speaker is someone whom I have a great deal of respect for his integrity and for his purpose. This gentleman spent 20 years as a serial entrepreneur, which it says on his website or on his Wikipedia site, and he was a venture capitalist. But recently he joined the Liberty Movement. He currently serves as the CEO of the Atlas Society. He is the chair of Stark 360 PAC, and he is the chair of the Republican Liberty Caucus of New Hampshire. I know you all know him well, and I want you to give him a very warm welcome, Aaron Day.
Good afternoon. Thank you very much for the introduction. Just wanted to start by saying, regardless of where you are on vaccine choice, it's absolutely critical that we inoculate New Hampshire from the parasites in Washington, D.C. We know that New Hampshire is the most important state for the presidential election. We also know that we can cost certain candidates in election, but we haven't proven yet as the grassroots movement that we can coalesce behind a single candidate and win an election. You know, two small examples of this. In 2012, Frank Ginta lost by 12,000 votes. The Libertarian candidate received 14,000 votes. And then there's Scott Brown. Now, I'm going to talk to you, I'm going to wear, I guess, 3 hats today in 7 minutes, so this will be interesting. The Stark 360 hat, the Atlas Society hat, and the Republican Liberty Caucus of New Hampshire hat. And I'm going to start with Stark 360 and discuss why we started it. I co-founded Stark 360 with Matt Phillips, and the whole purpose of Stark 360 is to protect liberty in New Hampshire. And it is to understand and recognize what's going on with these federal races, and rather than be victimized by it, to participate in an effective way and protect New Hampshire. Now, a lot of people in the Liberty movement, you'll see these in Facebook discussions, say, well, who cares about the presidential elections? Just focus on local races. Or put differently, screw DC, save New Hampshire. The thing is, these federal races have a huge impact on the state of New Hampshire. And I'll bring up one example. Chris Christie, who was here yesterday, is running for president, and he spent a significant amount of time, energy, and money supporting candidates in New Hampshire's primary in 2014. He got involved and engaged with Walt Havenstein in the primary, with Scott Brown in the primary, disadvantaging some of the candidates that we support. This is a pretty significant problem. The Republican Governors Association has tremendous financial resources. They conducted one poll on the governor's race. It didn't include Andrew Hemingway. They even did a poll on the United States Senate race. Why is the Republican Governors Association even polling on the United States Senate race? So it does matter. Making sure that we get involved and understand how the presidential politics affect the local politics is incredibly important. So when we started Stark 360, we had as our goal to have Liberty Republicans win the Executive Council, State Senate, State House, and obviously we wanted to take the corner office as well. We won 2 out of 3 of the Executive Council races. We won several Senate races. Overall, in 2014, we spent $300,000 and won 76 races. The point behind Stark 360 is to be an enduring infrastructure that we can reuse from election to election and to continue to learn as we move forward. Andrew Hemingway actually contacted me a few months ago and told me about about the 603 Alliance. And I said, this is a fantastic idea, because we weren't sure exactly what we wanted to do regarding the presidential primaries. But yet we do know that it's important that we come to some sort of consensus around our candidate. From my perspective, the most horrifying thing would be to wake up and find out that Jeb Bush won the primary with 22% of the vote because we split, the rest of the vote 10 different ways. And so with that said, we are not going to be making any endorsements until October and are very interested to see and learn more about the process in the in the caucus for the 603 Alliance. But in the meantime, we have decided to take two stances against two specific candidates. We are opposing Jeb Bush and Chris Christie. And we've already started the process. We've been building a social media presence. We have, thousands of people following our Stop Bush NH, Stop Christie NH. And I think that, again, it's important to understand that we can't allow this presidential process to ruin our state elections. So we just issued a press release. When you go out actually to the Atlas Society table, you'll see there are a number of materials there. There's our press release from yesterday for Stark 360 announcing what we're doing, and a few other pieces of information. And I will say, I think it's way too early for people to be deciding on candidates one way or the other. Obviously, we're delaying whatever we're going to do because it's important that we conduct due diligence. We only have, 3 candidates that are even officially in the race. Other people haven't even declared. So it's absolutely critical that we do our homework and make sure that we understand the pros and cons of each candidate. But there's one thing that I find really troubling because I get a lot of heat for this. You hear coming out of the party, well, you should only say positive things about the candidates that you like. Well, we're interviewing for President of the United States. If we don't do our due diligence, or if our candidate can't handle tough questions, how are they going to make it in the general election? We can't put bubble wrap around our candidates and give them feathers and say, duel it out. We need to fully vet our candidates. So with that said, looks like I'm running a little low on time. I'll just say, stop by the Atlas Society table. We have, in addition, the Crony Awards going on. So we have a crowdsourced contest to identify the Crony Capitalist of the Year. There's a ballot outside. We have an Atlas Summit event, which will be in this hotel June the 18th. And you can also pick up a free copy of a book that the Atlas Society published called The Republican Party's Civil War, Will Freedom Win? So with that, with any remaining time, happy to take any questions.
I'm just wondering, because you respectfully saying, just contradicted yourself. You said it's too early to decide on a candidate, and the sentence before that, you said that we are actively going against Bush and Christie, and you didn't provide, so that contradicted yourself there. And you're saying you're against Bush and you're against Christie, and you didn't say why. So I'm puzzled by, because I agree with you, it is too early. That we've got a huge field that was here this weekend, and there's a lot of information that was provided to us. But we also have to do our due diligence and continue researching that. So for somebody to say to me it's too early, except for these two who haven't officially declared, makes me right away say you're just as bad as the other naysayers on the other side because you're contradicting yourself.
Well, again, our PAC is dedicated to protecting liberty in the state of New Hampshire. So the fact that Chris Christie already intervened and screwed up our elections in 2014, that's enough to disqualify him right out of the gates. So that's the specific reason for that. Why Bush? Bush is the similar level of paternalism that he has continued to push forward, whether it's Common Core, which is...
Florida what they should do. And that's essentially what he said, was on a
well, I mean, I think he spun that issue several ways, but I worry about, again, in the realm of paternalism, going back to, he's urging everybody to push through Lynch, and this isn't just because he wants to be supportive of Obama. He's looking to make sure that if he were to be in that position, that he would have his own ability, as he exercised, I would say, carelessly in Florida, exercise his executive authority. So there's more information on that. In fact, you can go to Stop Bush NH, and you will see a whole litany of reasons why we don't support Jeb Bush. Any other questions? Yes. Well, as chairman of the Republican Liberty Caucus, I certainly will say we will support the Republican nominee, whoever that is, out of the primary process. Any other questions? Okay, thank you very much.
Get it on. Get it on. Crop TV.